day, Lady Taria.
Hi. So we're back with another episode of the R and Love podcast. The audio is good. Yes, we can see you. Thank you so much, Taria. So with the R and Love podcast, it's a husband and wife team.
I'm the husband of the two.
If you didn't know,
I might not have been a parent or something. So
I mean, the bear might have been a giveaway, but you never know these days, right? So he's Rodney and I'm Nadia, and we're like tackling topics, pop culture, parenting, everything in between. Okay, so this season, of course, we have a new spin on it where we're on Facebook. We have our Facebook family tuning in.
Chico, what's up?
We appreciate you guys.
Mhm.
And we're live on our podcast. So we're here every 2 weeks. And honestly, it is always a surprise how quickly 2 weeks comes upon us.
Yeah.
Like, when people tell you life is short, bro. Because this is fast. So we usually tell you if you have any questions you'd like answered, just send us an email at randlovepodcast@gmail.com.
I would be lazy. I edited that part now. I'll pump right there. I didn't edit nothing last time. I was being lazy, so I made sure not to be lazy this time.
Okay, that'd be awesome. Like, you could put glitter on it and everything. You like the makeup tutorial, like this product. So
This is
usually,
sorry, go ahead.
usually persons send us an email at randlovepodcast@gmail.com. So actually, we had a listener submitted topic. And we'll get into that a little bit later. So definitely that is what this podcast is for. And of course, if you have any topics that you'd like for us to tackle, please send us an email at randlovepodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Okay?
And happy birthday, Taria. She celebrated her birthday yesterday. It depends if you listened to it yesterday. I wouldn't tell her birthday, but she celebrated her birthday. Her husband, all the way outside the country, did a superb job ensuring that she had a wonderful birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Chico.
You know, some people husbands don't do that when they're in the country, in the house or stuff.
So
So
they say that presence is enough of a present.
no
Chico didn't
job.
think that, so Chico did an excellent job to
He
make
ran
sure
out.
she was straight. So I'm glad she had an excellent birthday. So happy birthday, Taria. I wouldn't offend you by singing it, but happy birthday, Rolly, and awesome.
Okay.
So let's
All right. So before we get into that topic that was submitted through our email, that we're going to dive deep in, and we really need your help because we're not familiar with this topic at all. It wasn't our experience, but hey, we're going to comment on it anyway.
a feedback, from what we have learned and observed.
Yes.
And I guess just the opposite of it. Just give our interpretation. And if you have not noticed by now, we aren't the shoppers. Nor do we try to pretend to be the shoppers. We just give you our perspective
We shop some days.
of our thing. No, we don't know everything. No, I don't know.
Oh,
everything.
no, we don't.
So it's just literally just our perspective of these things in this life. So we definitely, like Nadia say, would like your input, your feedback. Let our comment section know. Email us. We go from there. Let's have a wonderful conversation.
Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about before we get into the topic is, so Halloween was yesterday.
Yes.
Some people, like, it's a very big deal, and for some people it's not. So usually, okay, so when I was a kid, Halloween was honestly just October 31st. If I wanted candy, I could always ask my parents to go and buy some chocolate or something. They weren't going to pay some extra money to get me a costume and then take me out to trick or treat with strangers. What is that? There was nobody had time for that. So one of the things, I felt a little bit like I missed out as a kid. So one of the things I did as an adult, I wanted to make sure I did was like take the kids trick or treating every once in a while. It ain't gonna be every year because ain't nobody got time for all of that. For real. I can understand why my parents took the stance they did. However, like sometimes, yeah, we would. So usually we did the trick-or-treating thing, which I don't know how people do it. Because first of all, how do you plan for how many children are about to pull up on your house?
Crazy. Remember one time when we went out, it was Colony Village. Off of Village Road. We went off Village Road.
Yeah.
And then
And
Blair, and then
these
go house, so
houses
this person
were
pull
like,
up. So what it is a particular community that did trick-or-treating when we, again, not our kids. So we parked a particular place, we walked to house to house.
The full experience.
Full experience. There was his car. that had 7 to 8 kids in the car. They drove from house to house, opened the door, the kids just folded out of the car, took a bunch of candy and then went back into the car. So
I mean, because the houses that were actually participating in the whole trick or treat thing weren't that far apart.
no.
So it wasn't that hard for you to park your car and walk with the kids because that's the part of it. You know, you're walking with them anyway. So we usually did trick or treating or NPCC. I think they did trunk or treating.
Church of us.
Yeah, and it was really nice of them to do. So pretty much they had persons who would decorate their trunks and they would park in the church's parking lot. And all you had to do, again, park your car, bring your kid inside, and instead of walking from house to house, you walk from trunk to trunk.
Yeah, in the parking lot.
In the parking lot. So
safe environment, good environment.
Very safe. You know, there was police there and everything. There were food vendors. So, you know, you get a little snackish from walking in that circle in the parking lot. Why? I don't know.
Yes. The ride, the Bale ride.
Yes.
Campfire,
they had,
bonfire, we go do
marshmallows. Like, it was the full experience. Cool. So that's what we usually do. This year, of course, makes it very difficult. No, Chico, that's not what we do out east. That's all over. That's all over the island. People trick or treat normally. But you got to know the neighborhoods to go.
Yeah,
because some people, you knock on their door, they can look at you like you trying to tell them about a different religion. I ain't go there. So
who now called you because they can't walk face to face.
It's smart though.
Let's get on with it.
But yeah, so they we weren't able to trick or treat this year. Nor did I even think to buy them costumes because I said, why am I buying them costumes if they can't go out? These people this year are very, very smart. They have had virtual trick or treating in terms of like activities.
Yeah.
They had that's Deandra. Hey Deandra. They had art, like, you know, you draw your little scary stuff, you decorate cupcakes, you decorate cookies. Our church had a drive-by trick-or-treating session. Like, you literally, again, pull up. So maybe that car years ago was like just ahead of time. You roll up on the church, you take a picture in front of the nicely decorated banner and everything. And then you get your bag and you leave. Okay? Masks on at all times. And it was great. So, I mean, I'm hoping that next October may be better in terms of us going back to our old routine. But
something new.
But I mean, I really appreciate the ingenuity that people have taken this year. But yeah, things that are scarier than Halloween in 2020.
So to transition from what we talking about to that, what it was at Halloween normally, because the thing is, kids have these cute costumes, but it always is supposed to be usually like a scary thing. So we just sit down and say, what could be scary this year? Because okay, we didn't have the traditional Halloween trick or treating, but the idea of Halloween was still there. So we were saying, okay, in this year, what have we learned that have been scarier than Halloween would have been in this year? So one thing that's been scary for me in 2020 is this whole COVID thing. I remember the whole idea of being locked down. When this first happened, it's like 2 weeks. 2 weeks sounded super long. When they said October sounded super far. Now the fact that we're coping in 2021 potentially is like scary. The fact that you gotta comply with it.
So deadlines, like, because that's scary for me in 2020, worse than Halloween, because you're not sure. You know, we're gonna be able to open up next week. Okay, we're gonna be maybe 2 weeks. All right, maybe in another month. Listen, because I done, you know, my hopes getting up and everything like that. Mind you, it's not your fault. I don't think. Anyway, that's not another topic for another day. But like now, I'm not trusting of timelines.
Another thing scary for me was phrases. I never understood how scary phrases can be. When I hear the phrase, my fellow Bahamians and residents, it's like, that's something is coming behind that.
You know,
I never knew that I ever been so hesitant to hear somebody
greet you so warmly. And here's the thing, like, never have I ever heard a phrase that was so warm and inviting and inclusive and everything. Yes, my fellow
Bahamians.
Hold on, not just the Bahamians. and residents.
Oh,
Man, that
so-
is a long. I
that's what you
loved
say.
that phrase when I first heard it.
I did
And
not
then
understand that.
when it became the precursor to bad
Lockdown,
news, I was like, now my brain is associating this very nice phrase into like,
I emphasize my as like the whole my thing. Yes, is inclusive. But I never heard warmness from my is.
I thought it was so nice.
I think a C murder down for my niggas. I never
oh
thought
my
warm
gosh,
feelings.
Rodney, you're
from
gonna have
C
to
Murder.
edit that out.
C murder down. No, you can say nigga. C murder. The song name title down for my niggas. So I never thought saying my is other song. Cisco is what. So a lot of people mine and I never say, oh, that's such a warm stance. Like C murder has such a warm stance of his friendship and the care and concern he has with his friends. So he do anything.
I don't know
Those
how
close
you
friends.
jump from that
I
to
mean,
C murder.
I don't want the whole term like that endearing. So yeah, that's my
That-
that's a bit. The next thing now is something else that you find more scarier.
Anybody
2020.
else have something that's scarier in 2020? Now, for me, I'm actually more afraid, and I know it sounds irrational, but scary in 2020 is anything that has to do with like doctor, healthcare, any of those routine visits. Because
Yeah.
as simple as like my mind goes that far, it's like, okay, if I go to doctor, like sick people go to doctor. I don't care if this is a well visit. Like there are sick people who are going to the doctor, and it's like if they're sick, I don't know what they're sick with because they're going to the doctor to get diagnosed, and it's a lot. I don't know if it's like that for anyone else, but like when I hear doctor, I'm not excited.
One thing that's scarier that got 2020 made scarier for me is the whole like word a chew. A chew sounds like a gunshot now. Like last year, when someone said a chew, God bless you, God bless
They
you, listen
shoot.
to you. That's a
Made
chew
you
was like
look.
you looking like like him like you looking like someone who offended you. So like a chew is like whoo.
Lysol and beep ready.
Even though we go back this big again. Even though it's someone like my thing is allergies is happening, even when people sneeze, it's like I don't trust that person. Like you so hesitant to sneeze in public now, it's such a taboo. Like you rather just pass gas and sneeze. No, wrong. You came on the other side. That ain't me. I answer. So that's sneezing got considerably scary now
I shame.
in 2020.
So Taria says
Oh,
the
US
U.S.
president
presidential election. So
That
that's
is
yeah.
November
'cause
3rd is the deadline to
mind
vote. That's
you,
for a couple. That's in 2
November
days.
3rd?
It's a last day
I
to
thought it
vote.
was second.
I
Oh,
don't-
third day.
But
But
that's
anyway,
when it's
but
two
they've
accounts.
had early voting. I have. Don't get me wrong. I have absolutely no knowledge of the election process for the United States of America. I wish them well. I didn't know this process could be scary before because the last election had some surprises and tricks up its sleeve. So this one, with all that's going on already, I don't know how persons are dealing with it.
Too.
But you know, again, I wish them the best of luck.
Listen, she had a doctor's appointment this month. I pay a major public. Woo! She canceled it. Yeah.
Girl,
Whew.
like I'd be like, hey doc, could you meet me outside? Like I don't mind. Set up the tent thing. I don't. I just don't want to go in the building. And it's not even just like the hospital. Again, it's just your
Food
doctor's
source.
office. We
Anywhere with
had
more
to
people.
like have some labs done. I really didn't want to go into the lab. Like it was that serious. It was really scary. Like I damn near bathed in the hand sanitizer
We
because
keep
I was
it in
like,
the car,
no.
in the glove compartment. We keep it home. We have little small ones. We keep on our person. So yeah, we keep ready. And that's us without us touching people. Tara says suffocating in a mask. And Tara, I understand. If anybody who wears glasses, you know my play. When you have the mask, like the air steams up. So it's like you do your glasses get foggy. So I have to do this constantly to shit. So it's like that's be crazy. So all there. To know. Speaking of masks, I told Nads about it. I saw this guy talking about how masks doesn't stop corona. Right? So he had to show you why masks aren't effective. He had the vaping pen, but we don't condone vaping. He had the vaping pen. He took a big tug on it. He put on the mask in blue, and the smoke came out to the sides and above. And he tried to show how masks aren't effective. Different types of masks aren't effective. Now it's like I don't think anybody said the masks were airtight though. Like I don't think nobody said the air cannot escape the
I
mask.
think he just wanted to take a video of him vaping.
Yeah,
in
to show his kids the school. 'Cause he's like an older gentleman. To show his kids he was down with the blocks.
Nothing happening. I'm current.
So is there any sort of that's like the whole thing with the mask that you're trying to prevent like the spittle from going in, like certain things from dropping. There's nothing to stop it because air isn't stopping unless you're in a vacuum space. So so what else is scary for you in 2020?
What was scarier than Halloween in 2020 for me? I think we both covered it.
Yeah.
Honest, the last one for me, and it kind of is sad. Like, recently I saw someone and they got like super close to us, and when I tell my reflex honestly was like this is Sparta them and like kick them in their chest and like let them fall down the pit, because it was 6 feet, bro. 6 feet, bro.
Do them boys with it, yeah.
Yeah.
Traffic, yeah. And that's what's scary for me is looking at plane tickets and just realizing that, you know, traveling. Like one thing I used to do as a pastime, just look at, to say, okay, this plane ticket costs this, plane tickets cost that, and I just look at it. And one of the things they say is that the procedures you need to undergo to go on an airplane. So yeah, that's I'll wait.
Man, you ain't gonna lie, right? A little part of me really, I mean, and we again can't complain because we were one of the fortunate who were able to travel safely at the time, earlier this year. But I kind of miss seeing like
a
other
friend
places.
of ours had the picture of the I don't know what it's called, but the tunnel from the airplane to the terminal, that little thing they push under the wall, and he had a picture like, what is this? And I commented and said, I heard it's a magical place that leads so far away land. I only heard it in theory though, so it's up for that. Tires like grocery lines and traffic. Yeah.
You know,
traffic, we haven't been on the
listen, traffic is only really scary when you talk about you gotta be home by blank o'clock.
Woo.
Or else you're gonna hear whoop whoop.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And give them money that you don't have.
That's crazy. Grocery lines, yeah. I mean, with the grocery lines, we do the social distance. We try not to be up underneath the people or how people need us. And then I if someone's close, I exaggerate. My body, so I stretch my legs out, or I mean,
or push that car up on you.
Or whatever. So if you look at me, the fact I can hit you means you're too close. And I'm not shy to say more. I say it politely. I'm not shy to say, no, excuse me, back up, back, give me 50 feet, that thing. But yeah. Anything else or no?
No. So let's dive into
Meat
this.
And potatoes.
Let's dive into this topic, right? Okay, so
again, for people who just tuned in, we have our email address, rnlovepodcast@gmail.com. Any questions or any things you'd like for us to discuss, or any, I guess, things you think would be fun for us to touch on, which is exactly
or partnership opportunities, we're open for that as well, especially when we have our giveaways, because you know who birthday coming up in the best month ever next month. We're gonna have the next giveaway, and my giveaway gonna be awesome because that's the best month ever, December. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Jesus was celebrating December, so it's hard to like trash December.
See, he's good people. He know good people. He know
he's good people.
Okay.
He was born. Anyway. So yeah. So if you have anything, or in the comment section, put it in the comment section. We hit it up. But this is one, as Nadia said earlier, that came from that channel. So.
Okay. Yeah. So they left it a little broad for us. So next time, yes. Boop, 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 boop. Pew, 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 pew. Ashley says bestest month ever. Pew, 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 pew. Let me get into it. I promise. I start now. Okay. So usually, when we ask for you to give us topics, I like you to dive a little bit deeper and to give me clarity. Because if you leave it broad, we're going to take it broad. So you emailed me and said long distance. And honestly, I can assume that you meant long distance relationships. But one of my very good English teachers introduced me to the phrase that when you assume, you make a blank out of you and me. Okay then, cool. All right, cool. So I'm going to leave it broad. Long distance. I'm going to say we're going to look at long distance in terms of
friendships,
parenting, relationships, and marriage. Yeah. Okay? Because truthfully, right, with the introduction of social distancing and restrictions and lockdowns and stuff, more people are being thrust into long distance relationships than they were prior to. Because think about it now. let's say I got grandchildren, and I usually play a very active role in their upbringing. They live in a different country than I do. I usually see them multiple times a year because I help out with the daycare situation because daycare can be expensive in that country. I usually fly over often. I'm not able to. You understand? Because of restrictions, because I don't know. So, like, we know people who haven't seen their grandchildren in a year, people who haven't seen their spouses in a year, people who haven't been able to go on their girls' trips or do those activities with the friends that they were able to, that would have been able to, I guess, help to progress the relationship and move it further. So you're removing a certain dynamic away from that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, we're going to leave it broad. Anybody in the comments, if you want to talk about your experience, I wink, wink. Some people I see down there.
So we can start off with friendship. Friendship, as we are blessed to have such wonderful friends,
Mm-hmm.
and we always we joke about it, but it seems like really when we get some good solid friends, distance happens. And this is before the social example. A good friend of ours went to school in the States, and now she's off in China. And then that's a good friend of ours. Both they're married. That's why both of our friends there in the Bluesburg. And then that's a good friend of ours. They recently got married, and our husband's off to school in Jamaica. And then we have, and then good friend of hers, she's all right with me.
You
Good friend of hers,
too.
she doesn't call to talk to me. So she has a preliminary. Hey Rodney, all is well? Want me to say, yeah, it's not it though. Sorry, I didn't even mean to tell you how I was doing. But no, but seriously, a good friend of hers is in Freeport. Potentially he's going to be somewhere else after that. So we have experiences with that. So we had to be very intentional as it relates to trying to be friends. And one of the things we had to learn is that when we had time, we just cherish the time that we have with them. Whenever they're in our presence and we're in their presence, we made the best of it.
Yes.
We spoke to them, we made the best of it. We tried to, as much as we can, made it a pleasurable experience. So when everything, at the end of the day, something happens, they have to go back, go back to work, go back to school, go back to where they reside. It was a fun experience. Of course, you want to come back again. So that was always pretty cool. Because
So Ashley is saying that, I'm in a long distance relationship with my family. Not even sure about Christmas at this point, which is like, we don't know. And even you can be in a long distance relationship with your family on the same, like how we're in an island nation, right? On the same island, because truthfully, if we're adhering to the protocols that's been put in place, you're not really supposed to be visiting family, especially at length the way that we used to.
Yeah.
So listen, and they have the hotline now where you can call and say, hey, these people haven't body. So if your neighbors see 20 cars in the front of your yard, like how it used to be during Christmas because everybody's visiting, then they're gonna call and rat you out, and truthfully they should, because we're still at risk. But it sucks because I didn't have to cook Christmas Day. Let's get into it. I didn't have to cook Christmas Day. Because we'd spend Christmas morning here. We'd go next door to see my parents. We'd go down the road to see Rodney's parents. Mm-hmm. We'd spend the afternoon down by
no problem.
my extended family. That's 3 different houses. You understand? And you used to see so many people during that one day. And now we're not even sure if that's a thing.
So what we had to do, especially with the kids' birthday, we had to be creative. And that's where technology come in. And so, like, even with the birthday celebration, we don't do big to-dos for birthdays, but people come together, cut cake, and go home. And even that was more of a strain. So use of Zoom, we had to use Zoom, had to use more calling and stuff like that, just to feel it. And we were nearing the part where we said, okay, then things opening back up. We gotta go on the weekends and stuff, so we didn't plan and go see this person, go see that person. Then clank, you locked down again. So it's tough. So that's a feeling that you have ranks too. It's like, okay, I want, even the kids, Rawson had that, he expressed how he felt.
Yes.
In terms of, he wants to see his cousins. He wants to see his nana, his pa, his whatever. So that's the difficulty about it. So it gotta be creative, and that's tough. But I think you just make the best uses of the avenues that you have.
Yes. Donovan says, "What a friend I have in Jesus."
December.
And what?
Remember we said in December, Jesus birthday.
Yeah, man, Jesus is my homeboy. Remember that was the thing, right? But yeah, like so, it makes having that family relationship very
Yeah.
difficult, especially too. Let's take it a step further. You had a lot of persons who were able to have a more support role again, with their family and aren't able to do so. So there's some bonds that are being strained right now,
Yeah.
because of that lack of physical interaction. So again, going back to the friendship. So our friends are in different parts of the world right now, and whereas we used to visit them or they used to visit us, and we'd have our activities together, it kind of renewed your friendship as well. It telephone, like one aspect of it, like the telephones or Skype, Zoom, Google Meets, however you want to do it, is like, thank God for it. It's wonderful. It can get a bit old sometimes though, because sometimes you want to, let's go out to the movies, let's go out and catch a drink, but you're not necessarily able to do it the way that you'd like to, and that could be daunting. So
Next up is parenting. Parenting
Parenting.
on distance. And again, there's something we have been blessed to say, being in the same household with our kids. So we never had the long distance parenting. So if you have any experience, you definitely can chime in. But again, we only know we have persons who we know who parent on a long distance.
Okay, so for example, right, we're aware of these people who aren't together, but when they were together, they had a child. And so the dad of the child lives in another country and the mother lives here. And so whereas they already had a predetermined relationship, but they said that, anytime, he'd come over, he'd have the child would frequently go and visit him, whenever there was school breaks, that's fine. Now there's more restrictions. How does that parent feel not being able, when you already had an arrangement, not being able to interact with your child? And especially when you're talking about children on the whole, no matter what age it is, they appreciate creating those bonds and those memories with you, because they're always going to look back on these times and days, and looking back on memories where it's more we were conversing over the internet and stuff like that. It's I don't feel like it may stick as much as you teaching me how to ride a bike, you taking me out for ice cream, you helping me with my homework, and you erasing what I got wrong, and you showing me the right way, you showing me how to hold this thing properly. Like, those type of memories kind of stick, or that's what I think fondly of when I think about my parents. And so I'm assured that it's pretty hard for persons who don't have the ability to interact with their children the way that they used to, the way that they're accustomed to.
And next clip too, we know a couple who they migrated to another country, and how the migration process worked is one spouse went ahead, and then the other spouse came. But one spouse went in with one parent with one child, and the next spouse stayed with another child. And even that's difficult too, because now a lot of things you used to do together that you relied upon and say, whether okay, she gets them up, I carry them to school, or I do the breakfast and then she packs the lunch. It's these simple little idiosyncrasies that you realize that, man, it's really tough to do, because we're such a tandem that now you have to now adapt. And again, it's going to be for a short period, because this one is not constrained by COVID. This one is just moving. But that's tough as well too. And dealing with that and coping with that is difficult, because again, the whole idea is, like I was saying earlier with the other relationship, we already had this idea that this is how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Then get thrown a curveball. So okay, now I have to do something different, and that's difficult. And the thing is, that's where, in my opinion, where the communities, in terms of your family, you rely on your village, well, your villages, rely on the village on the right support system, and prayer and petition, and just try to get through, because parenting by yourself is hard.
Yes.
That's why I say relationships, parenting is hard, because a lot of things, no, that's what I can do, and vice versa. So it's meant to be a
He
dual,
does math. I don't do that.
it's meant to be a dual approach, in my opinion, towards dealing with kids and just dealing with family and stuff. So not to have your family separate for whatever reason is tough. So now you just have to look at things differently. So that could be a strain as well too. Strain the kids as well. Sure, because they were used to having their kids in the house, having the parents in the house, sorry, or having their siblings in the house, and then something happened, and then that's it. And then we have relationships before we get into marriage, just relationships in general. I think that's what you want to touch on, huh?
Yes, on the whole.
Just relationships, general,
Just
girlfriend,
because-
boyfriend, and stuff like that.
Okay, so girlfriend and boyfriend. Long distance relationships were very tough. Again, this is not our experience. If you want to drop your experience in the comments, feel free to do so.
And if we don't, we understand as well.
Yeah, that's fine. So, but it's already hard. So, when we're talking about, okay, that's fine. We're in a different place because of work or because of school or because of convenience for now. Maybe we're trying to build ourselves up until somebody can move over if it's feasible, the right opportunity, whatever your reason is for being distant. And now you're adding the whole stressor of not being quite sure of when I can come and see you. Because let's say, let's say the person is able to come over and they usually spend like about a week or two, right? New restrictions are up there. Oh, I have to go into quarantine for 2 weeks. Bro, I didn't want to travel to be held up in a hotel or wherever for 2 weeks. I don't know what the details may be. But that means that, we might have been able to do some things. Like some persons like take their significant other, around to see the family or to do some fun activities, go out and have dinner, do the things as a couple that you're normally not able to do because you're in a long distance relationship. So the prospect of being able to travel but not being able to interact the way that you'd like to do so now you're questioning what's the point. What's the point of traveling? That puts added strain on the relationship.
Chico saying spend more than 2/3 of relationship in distance, and COVID is widening the gap.
And that's true.
Yeah.
And again, going back to timelines.
And Taurus, you need to have a strong mindset and bond to get through it.
Yes, you have to. Because, again, with the timelines, you don't necessarily know when it's going to get better. Nobody's saying, hey, so yeah, April 14th, 2021, this thing is going to be done. We're back to normal.
Crazy.
Cool. We could plan. We can't. We don't. We don't know. And so it's that uncertainty that kind of wears at you a little bit,
Tico and conducts together for 9 years, married for 3.
Okay. Okay.
So what we didn't do for the first 3, then we definitely do it for the last one. Tips. So for friendships, let's have clean tips. Friendships, make use of platforms. If you can't physically see your friends, call them, check up on them, text them, FaceTime them, video call them, whatever it means. Make contact and then give them a chance to breathe through.
Harper on that. That is so important.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people understand. People are going through some things. And they are not going to tell you everything that, Grammy say, you tell some, you leave some, you hold some, right? People are going through some things. So yes, I may not be able to see you, but just to send me a message. Even if you were to send me a message once a week, once every other week, just a message to say, hey, you alive? All is well? How you doing?
So that's important in this season. And then be aware, especially if you have a friend using social media who is posting a lot, and for some reason they don't post anymore, or they post some stuff and the stuff just seems out of character, out of place. Just ask. And the thing is, they might not be in a position to talk at that moment, but show that you get it if you deal in that person.
You don't even know how important you asking that question is, because even though they may not answer you, the seed is planted now that, hey, somebody out there cares about how I'm doing, and I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind, and maybe I'm going to start to pull myself out of whatever rut. So friendships, that's very important. It's very important for friends, long distance friends, to step in, still be there.
And then it goes both ways. I totally agree. We have people like to say the phone is used both ways. The same 7 digits you call me, I can use to call you. I hear that. But at the same time too, you need to understand the role you play in that relationship at that time. Sometimes you're the giver, sometimes you're the receiver. You might be in the season when you're the receiver, not the giver. So be cognizant of that. again, like I say, something simple. It gotta be a simple message. Looking at WhatsApp status and the person saying, "Boy, I ain't smiling on them." Just something off. Just text, "Hey, but you good? Hey, you straight?" Or just send a funny thing. Or just to make sure you fine. If someone want me to say all the time, so if your mind run across somebody, reach out to that person.
Listen,
Reach out
my
to that
mom's so
person.
famous for that. Lydia will tell you, she'll start off a conversation. My mind run on you. Well, mommy, you done called 3 people for the day and said the same thing. My mind run on them, Nadia.
Yeah. Because the thing is, you'll be surprised when you be obedient that you might be the answer to the prayer they're asking, but they might be saying, "Boy, no, be careful me." That's you get a text from that is, "Oh, just make sure you're good." That's the answer. You'll be surprised. So be obedient because that's how we get our blessings. So let's be obedient. So that's a tip for friendships. And Jay was saying something.
So Donovan said for parenting, then there's the concern of COVID spread to and from the child moving from one home to the next.
And that's very important, Jay. And that's
Did
why you
not even consider that.
You have to make that hard, fast decision. So just either could be the homestead. And the thing is, even outside of COVID, somebody's house can be more conducive for schooling.
Yeah.
Like, you might not be the house where the kids can go to school because I can be home more. My job allows me to work remotely, so I can be home with the kids more. So I mean, so you have to stay here with me until the weekend or until whenever, return, whatever, not just the hard decisions you got to make. And even that, my advice could be on communication. That communicating between the parents, interact, but still, that's because you're not in the house. Doesn't mean you can't be in their lives, you know what I'm saying? So call them, text them, email them. What we did, we set up Skype accounts for our kids. So not Skype, it's Zoom accounts for our kids.
Yeah.
So when even when I was to work in rotation, I used to call my daughter on Skype, just on Zoom. Text, because they have like a little machine and text the son on Zoom. Just different ways to just keep that interaction up. Because I think that's equally important too. And yes, we might be more busy because so many other things happening. But still it's important to let them know, because one thing we have to remind ourselves constantly, these kids are going through this experience as well. They have not seen anything like this before.
Again, they are tired of you as well.
So this is very super important of it. And actually checking them with family is key. It helps even only a little bit.
So if you're in a position to just pull up in the front of their house with your mask on and talk in the yard, socially distant, do so. You know, it's really not, literally it's not going to hurt you. Yeah. But that even is an opportunity for you to break up the dynamic of their day. So my day might have just been going to the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, the yard. And I may have been doing that for a while. But the opportunity to stand outside for 5 and 10 minutes and to talk to somebody and to feel like some sense of normalcy again. Is the word, you know, it bridges the gap.
Sanity back, because this is, pandemic is an understatement, because this is doing such a thing on our subconscious and we don't realize it.
Oh yeah.
We're going to probably see it later on the line.
Oh, they're going to have studies out the wazoo
on how we respond, how we react. So it's important. That's why I think it's important. And then listen to yourself. You know, listen to yourself. Hear those voices. Sometimes you need a break as well. Be cognizant of that as well. Tarity, we've gone that again. 9 years together in 6 different countries. Or 6 years, sorry, in different countries.
Oh, that's
crazy.
Powerful.
Yeah, that's crazy. Dude.
Y'all gotta give people your secret, because y'all are very romantic, very
loving, very much
very supportive of each other, and especially when you're looking at the majority of your time spent away from each other. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, kudos to y'all and that, man. So that segues into relationships and all aspects, and then marriage. So like our experience, we've been together from high school. We've had distance in terms of we lived together when we got married, but the distance, we just made it a point, and it's old school, like communicate as much as you can. So one of the things we used to like to do when we were younger is we used to just be on the phone, and kids don't know no more, we just be on the phone watching TV together, or surfing the internet together, or listening to music together, or just talking, just different things like that, just to try to, even though you can't physically be in a person's presence, trying to find a way. And not entirely right, only God, but like God is essentially the root of it all. That, let's say, is true. Working from home is difficult, and it's also, she feel out of the loop with work, family, and everything.
You do feel out of it, like it's strong. And you would think, right, that this has been a part of our reality now for March. So you would say, because I know, right? You would say that, okay, we've been in this for March. Maybe we should have gotten the hang of this by now. I you know, yes, you're not in crisis mode, but it's still old. Like, it's still here. is still affecting us. It's throwing us off.
Because
And
there's no end in sight.
there's no end in sight or stability. So if it was just like one type of crazy, then it would have been fine. But it's like it's coming up with all kind of different things.
It
Like
changes.
and it can
things
change weekly, it can change daily, and you're not even sure of what to do. So it's really testing your resilience. So if it's testing you and it's putting a strain on you, then of course it's going to put any strain on your relationships that you would have, because you're not the same person that you were in this relationship beforehand. So whereas you might have been a patient, understanding person in the relationship, now you're not necessarily. You might be a little short, you might be a little cranky. It's because you're a bit worn out. And that puts a strain on long distance relationships either,
or close relationships.
Because I mean, you know,
the two times they talk to you, you then annoyed, you then auntie, you then short because you did them with life. So
and then we don't have necessarily the activities that we could have done to bring us back together, right? You're like, okay, let's go out and do something, or let's spend some time together. You don't have that now.
One thing I wouldn't say we undersell it, but one thing that is a strong factor and a lot of the stress is financial unsurety. So you have a lot of persons who are not sure, who are unsure about how they're going to make it to the next week, next month, let alone the next year. So that brings on new stress. And the thing is now too, when you couple up with being long distance, whereas I get a hard to look up doors, say, okay, I can go see you every quarter, I can travel to you every quarter, because I'm not sure how money's going to flow. I can't necessarily put that money aside to travel anymore.
I could miss traveling all I want, but if the money ain't there because of whatever the situation is, that's only going to add to the frustration. Yeah. In fact, don't even think about like talking to me about when am I going to see you again. You know what the situation is. Yeah. Like, why are you asking me that? And see, here it is that I'm being short with you when I really shouldn't be. But so, I'm already frustrated.
Understanding is important, is imperative. Understanding not just each other, but understanding yourself, to recognize when you're being like that, and then communicate it with the partner. Like, my thing is, we have to understand relationships in general. Communication is so important to say, this is how I feel because of that, and let the person understand how they feel as well too. Let them go through it and help them work through it. So you might be frustrated because they're not showing you what you need to be seeing, but help them show it to you. Help them to discuss it. Don't be like, oh, you always remember money. Like, hey, why is that money such a problem? It's something we can do different, something we can do better. You say we don't spend enough time together, and how can now we spend time together? What can we do together? So the advice would be to bring more solutions than everything, because everybody can see the problems. But we can't see the other solutions or all the alternatives. So what's the alternative? Yeah. Just offer the alternative, because my thing is, we are all frustrated. Don't just think that the person they want to spend time with you. You may be working hard to make sure that you're straight. But what's just how present the alternative? So you know what? And then say how you feel about it too, without adding guilt to it. Just say, you know what? I legit just miss you. I just miss you. You didn't do anything wrong. I just miss being around you. I miss hearing you laugh. I miss smelling you. I miss touching you. I miss being around you. I just miss you. Yes. I can't fix I miss you. That makes me feel sad. Yes. Be simple like it. I'm sad because I miss you. Now how can we move forward? Okay, I miss you. So can we spend? I know you're working, busy, 2-3 jobs. Trying to make sure we straight for next year. Do you have an hour on Friday so we can like watch Amy Schmidt on Netflix together? Just something silly. Do something together. Or do you have 20 minutes just to listen to music together? Nothing about the world. Nothing about how this is going to get done. How it's going to get fixed. Let's go back to basics. And that's why we always believe friendships, building things on friendship is imperative. Go back to the stuff you did as friends. Because that's the kind of stuff really we can sing, especially with long distance, where that physical intimacy isn't there. Yes. You gotta rely on that friendship. The thing is, with that friendship, because I just want to hang with this person. Like, I like hanging with her. I like doing things with her. So I think that's an important thing is to do this. Okay, what we used to do when we were younger, you know what I'm saying? When we couldn't see each other, what kind of stuff we used to do? Because it kept us then.
It goes back to being intentional in your relationships. I think that's really what Rodney is trying to say. Being intentional and being resilient. Being flexible. Those are the things that we're trying to teach the kids now, because even as young as they are, their friendships are suffering. Yeah. Rossin is at the age where you were actually starting to define who your friends are and what makes a friend, and you're building on those relationships. You're getting those foundational play relationships together. That's waning for him. Yeah. And then Raina is at an age where
Transition.
Yeah, she's transitioning. She's moving on to the next stage with school and everything. The friendships would have been strained and changed anyway because they're moving on to another phase of their life. But now you're not able to make those lasting memories and have that closure that you would have wanted to. So even the kids, we're trying to teach them to be flexible. Okay, I understand it's a challenge, but let's be intentional. If somebody is having a birthday, join the Zoom call. If you can send them a message, do that. If y'all can just have a meet where y'all just draw together. If that's the thing that brings you joy and would have brought you closer as friends, then do so.
Yeah. Because, what we used to do, funny enough, what we used to do, go on Facebook and look at random people's stuff on Facebook and talk with them. Just, I mean, my thing is, I tell you to be blunt with anybody. Things we did as friends, like because why I say Facebook is one of the things we did when we went to parties and just people watch. We can't go to parties anymore, so we gotta find different way to people watch. So we go on people's profiles.
I sham because I sham.
I like if you know me, I like to talk foolishness. So I mean, my thing is, I do it, and it's never out of malice. It's just I know laughter is important. I try to make a laugh.
It's the same one, but like,
yeah, and I mumble, so I talk loud.
I don't mumble, so I'm like very clear. I feel like a few persons heard me before.
But I do that really to make her, to help her a lot, to help her unwind. Just so she can be like, cool and whatever, and have a good time. Because it's different ways to have good times, and I always feel like conversations is good to have a good time. So that was the way that it doesn't plan. It's spur of the moment. You don't know what's going to be the next thing. So it's something cool to do, not something that we did.
And here's another thing, guys. I don't know if you've noticed, if you catch any of our past episodes, this whole podcast started in March. It means that this started this year when COVID was happening, okay? This was something different that we could do together, that brought us together. It added a different level to our relationship. It's almost truly like a date night. So yes, Donovan, I saw you comment early. I little doll up because I a little bit on a date with this man.
Say I get my hair cut, come here and all this stuff. Just dress up and whatever it is you have to do. Just like I say, add something new.
Yeah,
it's different ways to add things. So even in this environment, Tara says it helps when your spouse is your best. Your spouse, the partner is your best friend. I think it helps a lot too.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Because the thing is, you want to spend time with that person. You have these past jokes and these different things or whatever.
I mean, it's not everybody's truth. But honestly, at least you should say that you should enjoy spending time with this person normally.
When I hear best friend, I never take that to say your spouse is your only friend. I'm hearing that to say your spouse is a cherished friend. Like your spouse is somebody you say, you know what, I want to spend time with that person.
Hi, Cynthia. Glad to see you.
Oh, it's about a whole day. So
that's a sweet thing.
So I encourage us to the tips. Yes, that's all I love to do. I encourage you all to find things to do. That's what we do again. I like to talk. I saw talking garbage. I like to talk silliness. I like to be silly because again it makes her laugh. So you have to find a way to pour into the person as well too. But that's what the person likes to do. That's what the person likes to do. She likes to watch these stuff on Netflix. So I try to watch stuff with her on Netflix.
I like the Korean shows. Subtitles on nothing.
She like the K-pop, the K-dramas.
It's not K-pop. I don't like K-pop.
K-dramas.
K-drama.
Her cousin likes K-pop. So she said K-dramas. I don't. But I recognize that if I were to take 2 seconds to watch it with her, it'd be something that's dynamic. That's why I actually got into reading, because I wasn't the biggest advocate for reading. But she liked to read, so I said, we pick up reading. I go into reading because something she is interesting.
And K-drama, like, I get to read the subtitles, and then, like, the storylines are very good. Like,
it's atrocious. One of the ones is like, atrocious is a strong word. I like to say garbage, but even that's a strong word. They caught me. They do catch it now. One, it's a couple I liked. Especially how they describe it. One lady, she was, damn if I'm wrong. There's so many that she watches.
How will we get it?
One where the lady was hang gliding, and then she going to like in a different country.
Don't talk it up.
Like how you going to a whole different country over hang gliding? So her whole thing was she trying to get back to her country. Oh, she forgot who she was. Like she hang gliding, she buck her head, she had amnesia, so she didn't know who she was. Then she tried to find her way back into her country. There's the next one where I saw. I love the cinematography of it. Like, because that's so many symbolism with the young guy who had wasn't the bar? Was the bar?
Yes, the bar.
When he had the bar. So that's awesome cinematography in me. So I fell in love with that one. It's couple be like, okay, cool, like jamming. But the other ones is we would have so I used to do loneliness. So when I want to watch basketball,
He doesn't
and
need
she don't want to watch
anything to
basketball.
drone
I say,
by the
wait,
way.
I watch these entire and now these be 12, 14 episode, hour long, more sometimes series. I watch these. I put up a Juju. I fall asleep a couple lines. I will watch one game of basketball. You can turn it down. Like it was to the point that she want me to turn it down. I can't hear it. She can hear the people writing the script on our K-pop shows. Like how loud TVs be. So, but again, it's all adjusted. It's all,
hate.
it's all
right.
love. It does. I say it jokingly, but it doesn't bother me. But just find different things, man. That's my best advice. Find different things that you can do, whether it's new stuff or whether you do a spin on the old stuff. One thing is that we do, it's boring. One thing is that we did, we listened to some music. I love.
Delete comments.
I love music. It does something for me. I love music. So we did this recently. We had like the challenge, the Tony York challenge she won on.
And we're so dated. We're so sorry.
That's
like
what
when there's like
whatever.
new challenges, let us know because we don't keep up on it.
We found it. We discovered it. It was fun because you get to listen to music, and that took us down like a memory lane. So we sat in here for like 2-3 hours just listening to music. I playing song. And we gone so far that we came across Jennifer Holiday, Dream Girls performance of, and I'm telling you, you're not going nowhere. Like I didn't know she wrote. So what it is, Jennifer Holiday created and wrote Dream Girls, and she won a Tony Award for it.
Yes.
And she was original. Like if you have not seen
that performance, is life.
Bro, Jennifer Hudson did a really good job, mind you. Jennifer Holiday, the originator, the anguish and the pain that she sang with that's number one. Number two performance is Will Smith off the Freshmen's when he sang Uncle Phil.
Yeah. and you.
So
you're gonna. I ain't even try it.
And then 3 was Jennifer Hudson. No, not the Jennifer Hudson, just in terms of performance. That turned us to watching Ike and Tina. I never saw her perform. Tina Turner perform. There was somebody else. Patti LaBelle and Lady Marmalade.
Yeah.
We just it just is so much. We just again. I didn't say all that to say. That led us doing one TikTok challenge. Led to a whole 2-3 hour.
It was a date
4-hour
night,
date
guys.
That we had fun, we laughed, we chuckled, and we were being silly together. So that's the kind of stuff you can do again. That's something that you can do because you don't need to be physically close together to do. You just need a strong internet connection, a strong connection with each other, and just dedication to say, let's make this work. So that's just us and us not knowing something to give you some advice.
So again, internet service providers, you're saving relationships. Please keep the internet stable and have a steady supply. We appreciate you. You don't know the impact that you're having on people's lives right now, man.
Yeah, it really is a life force. It really is a life force, and not just what it is. So no, like I say, keep on coming. Like we again, just my advice to you, and that's our advice to any couples, and then also to ultimately keep the right people around you giving you advice. So be mindful of what it is you're allowing someone to say. So you may have a couple who aren't happy or a person who isn't happy feeding into you. Because when you have that long distance is a gap. Be careful you allow to fill in that gap.
Yeah.
Don't let bald-head Keisha tell you something she ain't supposed to tell you. Or piece of crap Peter tell you something he was tell you. So be mindful of who you allow to pour into.
From Keisha's and Peter's.
If he was a bald-head lady named Keisha who's negatively pouring into somebody's relationship,
he meant what he said.
I'm not sorry. He's a piece of crap Peter who was negatively influenced someone's husband. I say what I say with my chest.
Okay. So, anything in the comments?
No, we laughing and every laughing and Jay say joking but seriously, but no.
Yeah, that's okay. We're not J man. So.
Hey, mommy's a man.
Hey, yes, hi Lydia. Yes. Oh, before I wrap up, guys, tomorrow is my dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Neville. Happy birthday, Doc. Happy birthday, Dadums. That's my guy, man. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Awesome. Also, we have cake.
There will be cake. He doesn't want cake, but there's going to be cake.
Cake is for him. It's for us and the kids.
It's for the kids.
So he cut
it.
For the kids. We sing to him, he blow it out. He cut it and we'll just take the rest of the cake.
We're trying to keep a slim figure.
So we will take the cake, Miss Sally. So that's good. We appreciate you for that.
So that's been another episode of the Iron Love Podcast. Of course, we want to thank you for tuning in, and we've enjoyed having you with us. Special thanks to our Facebook family for tuning in. It's always good to have you. We appreciate you guys. So don't forget to like and follow and subscribe to our Facebook, Instagram and our YouTube. We're going to have this stream up on YouTube so you can watch it again. The stream is going to stay on our Facebook page so you can watch it again. The stream is going to be on our podcast this week.
It's going to be, we have in all the streaming platforms for podcasts, whether Spotify, Apple Music, Google. Literally just type in R and Love on your search engine and it'll come up. We have it on all the platforms.
Okay.
And then that's the audio. You want the video, check back on Facebook, like Nadia say, or our YouTube channel, R and Love.
I say Tamika, bye, Tamika. And Thalia and
Yeah,
Chico
say
say
happy
happy birthday. And Ashley says happy birthday. Daddy, I hope you're listening to this. Yes, man. Anyway, take care, guys. Until next time.